Welcome to this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice. What we'll do today is go through a sequence of practices, settling and centering, which we'll do with our eyes closed, and then awareness of the space that our body's sitting in and awareness of our breathing and body and posture to get a real sense of presence. That we'll do with our eyes partly open, so you're going to want to move your device, especially the section after that. We're going to be looking out into our environment. So you'll want to move your device or your seat in a way that you're not looking directly into your screen. Then, after we've done these different settling and centering, mindfulness and awareness practices, we'll do a contemplation that is a meditation with particular form of working with kindness and compassion. And then that will conclude our session. Now, traditionally, if we're entering into our practice, and especially if we're going to do a kindness and compassion contemplation, we want to start with the attitude that we're doing this practice not just for so that we feel better or we are able to handle our lives better, but that we're doing that so that we can handle our lives better and be more genuinely present and responsive to others. So if we set that intention that the benefit of this practice goes beyond ourselves and that we're really doing it so we can be of more benefit to others, that empowers the practice. And at the end, we'll conclude with a dedication of what we've accomplished, as well as an aspiration to continue our mindfulness and kindness and compassion throughout the day and night, as they say. So, one thing that we can contemplate as we're practicing, we'll be aware that thoughts arise. So how do we work with those? We're not trying to banish them and pretend that we can sit here and never have a thought. There may be a gap in the thought process in which we're simply present and perceiving what's going on. But thoughts are part of our perception as well. We see things, we hear things, feel things, smell, taste, and we think things. We perceive our thoughts. So the difference is that the thoughts can take us away. All the other five senses are always happening in the present moment, but thoughts can take us away into the past or the future. Our mind is a kind of time machine, while our body always in the present moment. So to work with these thoughts is not to indulge in them or not to try to suppress them, but just be aware of them and let them come and go. When we realize we've been taken away into a daydream, at that point, we simply acknowledge it and smile and say, well, the mind does wander, and now I'm already back. So that's the key to the practice. Mindfulness is both a state of being and a practice. The state of being is our mind is full of our experience in the present moment. That's the state of being of mindfulness. The practice of mindfulness is recognizing at those moments when the daydream bubble pops that we were someplace else and now we're back. And feel the contrast between the two. So sometimes we punctuate that contrast by giving it a mental label and just say, oh, that was wandering, or that was often thoughts. Now, what we can experience by doing that is we start to experience the texture of our thoughts and recognize the different shades that they have and where we're coming from. So it allows us to unravel some of the confusion that we get into. We get into confusion because of either attachment or aversion or a prejudice of some kind. And we see that throughout the world. These are the causes of so much suffering. The attachment feeling like we need to get something to fulfill ourselves. And very often it's something that someone else has. So there's a problem there. Aversion is we have resentment that things aren't the way we'd like them to be. And very often it's because somebody else is in the way of that. So there's a problem there. And the prejudice is taking things to be a way that we think our version of things is how things actually are. And so since everybody has a different version of how things are, there's a clash and there's a problem there. So you see, that's the source. Those three things are the source of all the conflicts and suffering that we go through in our world. So that's something that gets revealed when we have that perspective that our mind contains our thoughts. Our mind is bigger than our thoughts. We have thoughts, but we are not our thoughts. So we have that different relationship with them. We can, ironically, have a sense of humor about these arising and say, wait a minute, I don't have to take this so seriously, and I don't have to let it take me over and cause so many problems for myself and others. So that's what the practice is directed towards ultimately, is having insight. But first, before you have insight, you have to kind of calm things down. It's like a stream where the rapids are, it's all white water and you can't see to the bottom. But when the stream slows down, then you can see clearly all the way through. So let's start by slowing things down a little bit. Now, we're doing this in a sitting posture. And the reason is it puts us in neutral. If we lie down, and there are practices where in yoga where you lie down, it tends to encourage us to get sleepy. If we're standing up, there's a natural impetus to go somewhere. So sitting is putting ourselves in neutral. So to take the sitting posture, and you can work with your posture with your eyes open or closed, but it might be easier to feel something with your eyes closed. First, whatever you're sitting on, feel your sit bones, the two bones that are pressed down, where your legs come into your hips. And even your weight out so that it's not tilted to the left or to the right. And then with your back upright but not rigid, you can bend a little bit at your hips, not your waist, at your hips, and just tilt a little bit forward and a little bit back so that you're centered, not tilted forward or back, left or right. Now, ideally, if you can, do this without leaning back against something. But if physically you need to lean back, just scoot your butt back as close as you can, right up against whatever you're leaning on, so that you're upright rather than slouched. Okay, so that's our basic torso posture. For your legs, if you're sitting on a cushion on the floor, your legs will be naturally crossed. If you're on a chair, have your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart, so that your shins are vertical, perpendicular to the ground. And your knees are also about hip width apart. Now, if your knees are higher than your hips, it's going to put a little strain on your upper legs and your lower back. So gently slide your feet across from each other, cross them at the ankles, and let your knees widen out so that your knees are lower than your hips. There's our lower body posture. Back to the torso, we had our back upright but not rigid. And to combat our usual curling forward quality, you can feel your breastbone. Just let it raise up and forward the tiniest bit, quarter of an inch. What that does is it opens your chest. Your shoulders come back naturally. you can feel how much easier your breathing is. You may even feel a tiny pinch in your shoulder blades, between your shoulder blades. But now you have an open heart, open chest, and firm back. That uprightness of your back, we want to extend up your neck and the back of your head. So that from the back, top of your head, the back of the top of your head, down to your tailbone feels like a straight line. So your head isn't tilted forward or tilted back. Your chin isn't tilted up or down. When our chin tilts up, we space out. Tilted down, we get a little sleepy. So the chin kind of comes in naturally when you see people in good posture at attention. Now we talked about opening the chest. The shoulders come back a little bit. Let your upper arms hang straight down from your shoulders. Let your shoulders hang. We're holding our shoulders up a lot. Just let them hang. Let your upper arms hang straight down, and then bend at the elbows and swivel your forearms so they go along your thighs, hands palm down on your thighs. They'll probably be just behind your knees. So you're not pulling yourself forward with your arms or pulling yourself back, but your arms are in neutral, just hanging straight down. From the upper arms and the lower arms resting along the forearms resting along your thighs. Your neck and the back of your head match the line of your spine. Your chin is naturally tucked in, and we hold some tension in our jaw, so let your jaw soften, but not hang slack open. Your lips lightly touching or slightly parted. And if you're comfortable with your lips touching, that's fine, because mainly we're only breathing in through our nostrils, unless you have some condition. Breathe in through your nostrils. Breathe out the same way, but if some air comes out your mouth as well, that's okay. The out-breath's more relaxed. In-breath is gathering, out-breath is letting go. Your tongue can rest naturally where it is, or there's a traditional posture of letting your tongue float up and rest lightly. The front of your tongue rests lightly against the upper palate, just behind your front teeth. Now that's said to lessen the flow of saliva, so you don't have to swallow as often. But if you have to swallow, go ahead. We want to sit still, but not rigid. So if you have to swallow, go ahead. If you have to itch, just scratch it, but do so mindfully. Notice that that's what you're going to do, and do it with that intention. If you feel a sharp pain, don't hesitate, just move. And we'll be doing these practices just for a few minutes at a time, so hold your posture the best you can, and then we'll be able to move and refresh our posture. Now let's fully inhabit our body. So within your posture, feel your feet. You can move your toes a little bit. Flex your shin muscles, flex your thighs. Feel your legs. Too often we're in our head and our body's kind of just something that carries us around. So really feel your feet, your calves, your thighs. Clench your buttocks and let go. Pull in your stomach and let go. Feel your lower back. Feel your rib cage and your chest. Your shoulder blades, shoulders, arms, upper arms, forearms, hands. Move your hands a little bit. Your neck, jaw, and scalp. Now that we've fully inhabited, we may notice that there's some tension that we have that we don't need to hold our posture. It's kind of residual tension. So now as we go through, with each out-breath, I mentioned the out-breath is a letting go. With each out-breath, aware of a certain part of our body, let whatever tension you discover there that you don't need to hold your posture, just let it melt and let go, soften as you breathe out. So we take an in-breath and then, aware of our scalp and our face, breathe out, let the tension flow down and out of your jaw and shoulders, your jaw and neck, tension flow down and out of you. Your shoulders, collarbone, tension flow down and out of you. Upper arms, chest and upper back. A little tension to hold that breastbone up a little bit and open your chest. Everything else, breathe out and let the tension melt and flow down and out of you. Rib cage all around and solar plexus. Breathe out and melt. Lower back, deep belly. Breathe down and melt. Your whole pelvic region. Breathe out, let it all melt. Flow down and out of you. Thighs, forearms, and hands. Let go of the tension. Knees, calves, ankles, and feet. Breathe out and let go. Feel your weight, your sit bones pressing into your seat. Now breathe out and sink down. Sometimes we feel like we're perching and we have some tension there. Without losing your posture, breathe out, just let your weight sink into the seat. Breathe out and sink down. Breathe out and imagine that you're connected to the earth. You're part of the earth. It's as if you're a mountain, fully rooted in the earth, but extending majestically upward in your dignified posture. Now let your awareness rest deep in your core. We're three-dimensional beings. Feel front to back as well as side to side. A couple of inches below your navel, just in front of your spine. Let your awareness rest there. Feel how, as the breath comes in, what's happening is the diaphragm is pushing down, but it'll feel like your deep belly and lower back are expanding. And as you breathe out, the diaphragm comes up and they contract. Now, rather than controlling your breathing, just be an observer. I promise your body will breathe itself. And just relax into the rhythm of your body breathing, filling as the air comes in, emptying as the air goes out. The same rhythm that you might see if you're at the beach on a calm day and the water gently running up the shore and then back into the ocean. Breathing in and gathering, breathing out and letting go. And we'll do that for a couple of minutes. Just relax and enjoy the rhythm. And now gently let your eyes open about halfway. Again, best not to be looking into your device, so move it as you need to. But look down under your eyelids, just a couple of feet in front of you. Reconnect with your posture, check your posture. And soften your gaze so you're looking not at any particular object, but at the space in which your body is sitting. Aware of your posture, aware of the space in which your body is sitting. And again, rest your awareness deep in your core and feel the sensation of filling and emptying within the space of presence. Presence here where you're sitting. Filling as the breath comes in, emptying as it goes out. Again, as an observer rather than a controller. Long or short, deep or shallow, doesn't matter. And if at some point you realize your mind has drifted off into a daydream, you're already back. You can't realize it within the daydream. Just smile. Reconnect with your posture, the space you're sitting in, the feeling of filling and emptying with the breath. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. If you got sleepy and your eyes closed, just open them all the way and feel the whole movement of the breath in your nostrils, deep into your core, out of your core and out your nostrils. If your mind was very busy and you were mostly off in thoughts, keep your gaze lowered and your eyes only half open. And pay a little extra attention to the details of the sensations, the internal sensations, starting to fill, filling and full, and a little shift to starting to empty, emptying and empty. Shift to filling, shift to emptying. We'll continue for a minute or two. As the gong fades, if you need to reinvigorate your posture, refresh, move a little bit, feel your legs, your torso, arms, neck, head. Now let your eyes open fully. Just look naturally straight ahead. Again, you may have to move your device a little more. In your eyes, the natural resting will be slightly below the horizon. And soften your gaze, open up your gaze, your peripheral vision. Sometimes it's described as feeling like you're looking from behind your eyes out a wide-angle lens, seeing a whole landscape, not looking at anything in particular, just seeing the whole picture, above and below, side to side. In a similar way, have that attitude toward your hearing. Open up your hearing, not to what's just in front of you, but from all around, not just in your room, but near and far, loud, soft, whatever the sounds. You may experience some smells in your room, some taste from coffee you had or tea, something you ate, and bodily sensations. As I mentioned, you're also perceiving your thoughts coming up in your mind. What you're seeing, hearing, feeling, and all the sense perceptions and thoughts, they're all happening in your mind. So your mind is like the sky, containing all of these experiences. You might think of your mind as like a camera, a video camera that can also pick up sensations. They're all coming in, but they don't change the camera. It's just a way of perceiving. And an awareness of your breath, let it more be riding the breath out. Instead of the internal sensation, that's something now included in a bigger field of perception. Sights, sounds, bodily sensations, thoughts. Open your awareness as big as you can. The breath goes out and mixes with the atmosphere. Ride the breath out and open your awareness. With each out breath, open further. Breathe out and open. Breathe out, let go of this and open to that. With each out breath, letting go, relaxing, opening to whatever is appearing without needing it to be a particular way. At some point, you don't even need to work with the breath. When you get to that point of just open spaciousness and relaxation, just rest in that. Aware of whatever appearances arise in your mind. In this practice, it's okay if your mind goes to attention to sight, then to sound, then to body, in whatever order, noticing thoughts, because they're all happening in the present moment. And if your mind drifts off into a series of thoughts and gets captured by them, into a daydream, when you realize it, reconnect with your posture, do a few more out breaths until you can relax into that open spaciousness. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. And as the gong fades, you can refresh your posture. And now we'll do a contemplation. You can do this with your eyes open or closed, whichever is more comfortable for you. But reflect on what I was discussing earlier, the feelings that we have when we feel wantingness, needing things to be a particular way, needing something to feel like we're fulfilled. And think everyone else feels that as well. Think of things that fulfill you, that make you feel happy. In a deeper way, feelings of love, peace, security. Know that that's what makes everyone feel happy, feel a feeling of well-being. And from your heart, as best you can, engender the wish that all beings, everyone, experiences that well-being. Safe, secure, not needing anything to feel good about themselves. Include yourself, the wish that I can feel that way and everyone feels that way. Know that all the grasping, greed, hatred, ignorance, intolerance causes so much suffering in the world. And our own negative emotions cause ourselves and others so much suffering. Rouse the wish from your heart as best you can that I and everyone else could be free of these negative, poisonous emotions. And traditionally, it said you can set up a rhythm that as you breathe in, it's almost like drawing out the venom from a snake bite, that it draws out from everyone else and from yourself all these negative, poisonous emotions, all these causes of suffering. So take a few breaths. They're not filling you particularly. In fact, you're drawing this out from yourself as well. Just the sense of relieving every one of those poisons. And as you breathe out, sending out to yourself and others, filling them with love, understanding, tolerance, generosity, kindness. send out a few of those breaths. It feels good to send out, to give all those positive feelings and to have those positive feelings. Feel empowered to draw out, to free yourself and others from the grip of those poisonous emotions. Breathe in and free yourself and others from suffering. Breathe out and fill yourself and others with kindness and love. And as the gong fades, let go of what you're imagining. Lower your gaze and come back to presence. Simply being in the space you're sitting in, feeling your posture, feeling your breathing coming in and out. Now to conclude, as I mentioned before, we're doing this not just for ourselves, but to be more available, more genuinely responsive to others. In along the lines of the practice we just did of kindness and compassion, wanting to do what we can to make the world a better place. So we dedicate the practice we did in that way, and you can say this in your own words or repeat after me. May the practice I've just done be of even more benefit to others than to myself. And that's real generosity. And set the aspiration, may I maintain the attitude of mindfulness and kindness as much as possible throughout the rest of the day and evening. So thank you very much for attending this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice.